Hi dears, good morning to all. Today we are going to discuss about the new chapter in physics, that is friction. According to your textbook, it will be your 12th chapter. Okay, and I know that you already aware about the frictional force because in the previous chapter you already learnt about friction, right? Yes, in there you learn that frictional force is a type of force. Which type of force? Yes, contact force. What do you mean by contact force? Contact force is actually the force acting between the object when they are in physical contact, actual physical contact. That physical contact brings them changes, right? So, when we are considering about this frictional force, before explaining it, we can discuss some examples. When we consider that a ball which is rolling on the ground, when we kick the ball, that time the speed of this motion of that ball will be high. But gradually the speed of the ball decreases. At last that ball comes in the state of rest. Why? Because in that case, there is that means it's in contact force. We already discussed that frictional force is an contact force, and there in the rolling of ball on the ground, in that case the surface of the ball and the surface of the ground are in contact, right? So in that time, this ground, surface of the ground, it produces an opposing force for the motion of the ball. So that's why at time to time it comes in the state of rest or its speed is decreases. Okay, and when we are considering about the bicycle, when we are pedaling the bicycle, what will happen? The speed of the bicycle will increases, right? When we stop the pedaling of bicycle, then after some time the speed of the bicycles will decreases. As a result, it's also comes in the state of rest. Why? In that case also the road, if we pedaling the bicycle or if we are moving the bicycle in a tarring road, so what will happen is that road produces an opposing force towards the movement of the bicycle. So that time also there are two surface comes in contact. What are the surface? Yes, surface of the road and surface of the wheel. Okay, these both objects are in contact. So that time this road surface produces an opposing force for the movement of the bicycle. So its speed is decreases. Am I right? Yes. So now we can define the frictional force, right? Actually, one thing you have to remember, frictional force is an opposing force. Frictional force is an opposing force. Then what is frictional force or what is friction? Friction is a kind of force in which there will be the presence of two surfaces and one surface opposes the motion of the other surface. In the case of bicycles and movement of this ball, we already discussed that. In the case of ball, that ground produces an opposing force, and in the case of bicycles, that road, it produces an opposing force in the direction of the opposite direction of the motion of the object, motion of the bicycle. So there is an opposing force. So this frictional force is an opposing force and it actually exists in between the one surface over the other. And actually the frictional force is the force acting between two surfaces in contact with each other, and it opposes the motion of one surface over the other or opposes the motion of one object over the other. That is considered as frictional force. Okay, friction is an opposing force. It opposes the motion of one object over the other. So now we can discuss the causes of friction. So causes. What are the main causes of friction? Causes of friction. Causes of friction we can consider as the causes of friction. Did you ever seen the sandpapers? Did you see the sandpapers? Here you can see that the sandpaper. And what's the speciality of the sandpaper? Here that means the sandpaper surface is very smooth or rough. Yes, it will be more rough. When we rub two sandpapers, when we are taking the two sandpapers and we rub it each other, okay, that means we are moving one of the sandpaper over the other. In that case, is that motion is smooth or not? It will not be smooth. Why? Because that surface is not smooth surface, so their motion is also not smooth. Why it happens like that? There will be in the surface are rough, so both the sandpaper surface are interlocking each other. Why it happens? Why this interlocking happens in between these two sandpapers? Why it happens like that? That is mainly when these two sandpapers are close to each other. Okay, when they are one over the other, that surface is rough. Not only the sandpapers, most of the solid objects. We know that the matter exists in mainly three states: solids, liquid and gases. Right? In the case of solid objects, what will happen? Most of the solid object, its surface is rough. In majority, if the surface is more rough, that we can easily see, or otherwise we can feel it while moving our hands above these solid objects. We can feel it's whether it is smooth or rough. If it is rough, we can easily feel it. Okay, but if it is if the solid surface is smooth, then also there will be some interlocking will be there when we slide over the other object on the solid objects. Okay, so why it happens like that? It's mainly that we can consider the causes of friction. Okay, the main thing is that when we take the microscopic view of the solid object, when we consider two solid objects one over the other. Okay, so that time with our naked eye we can't able to see that bumps or like this roughness, but with the help of a microscope we can easily see the hills and valleys present in the surface of two solid objects. So because of the hills and valleys, the main causes of friction is because of the presence of hills and valleys. Okay, hills and valleys are actually causes the friction. Okay, presence of hills and valleys in between the solid objects creates the interlocking when both are in contact with each other. Okay, so how these hills and valleys we can able to see? How we can see? With the help of a microscope. Microscopic view we can able to see the hills and valley. Okay, and here in this picture you can see that we are rolling here you can see a wooden block over a green colored surface. Okay, and there already it shows about the direction of motion of the wooden block. In that case, direction of motion already in that picture it is marked. Then when we are moving it, so that time what will happen? There will be the bottom of the wooden blocks may have some valley or hills. At the same time this green surface also have the same thing, valleys, presence of valleys or hills. Why? Because the both objects are solid objects. We already discussed that in solid objects there will be some roughness will be there. In solid objects, most of the solid objects are rough. But when we are looking it, we are feeling its smooth surface. Then also there is a presence of valleys and hills. Okay, so in this picture also, when we analyze here, this round shape you can see in between some gap. Okay, so that gap is actually the hills and valleys. In the both the surface you can see some edged portion and some inward portions. So that is actually the valleys and hills. So when these valleys and hills, if we move that wooden block over this green surface, so that time there will be an interlocking in the both the valleys and hills, there will be an interlocking. This interlocking creates a force of friction. That force creates a frictional force in between them. But if the applied force is more than the frictional force, we can pull or push that object over the green block. Are you clear? Or otherwise, from your textbook itself you can see. Here we have a wooden block and wooden table. Wooden block and wooden table. When this wooden block, we just slide over the wooden table, what will happen? Here you can see the microscopic view. That means if we consider the wooden block and table. So here this you can consider as an block. Wooden block. Wooden block. Okay, and this is the microscopic view. Okay, and the downside we can see the wooden table. This one is in between you can see some inward portion and like this kinds of edges you can able to see. In your textbook also you will be able to see like this kind of edged and inwarded portion. Okay, edged and inwarded portion. So like this you can see. It's actually, this is the wooden block and this one is the wooden table. Okay, and when we slide this wooden block over the wooden table, what will happen? There will be an interlocking in both the surface. This is the surface of the table and this is the surface of wooden block. So that contact portion. So here in your textbook also you can see that black ground in between that contact position, that black spot we are taking in microscopic view. Okay, so when this microscopic view, like these kinds of bumps or hills and valleys, actually this kind of outwarded portion is considered as hills. Okay, that edged portion is considered as hills and inwarded portion is considered as valley. Okay, so because of the presence of these hills and valleys are actually the cause of friction. Okay, mainly the causes of friction is these hills and valleys. And at the same time, if we are moving it in this direction, so that time we are applying the force, right? When we consider we are applying force in this direction. So actually in between them there will be an frictional force. When we pull it, so that time our applied force is more than the frictional force. Then only these wooden blocks will move in the direction of motion. If the applied force is less, then applied force is less than the frictional force, we can't able to move this wooden block. Are you clear? So this is mainly the cause of friction. In between there is a frictional force mainly because of the hills and valleys. So while this movement time, this surface will interlock. Okay, in this interlocking time, when we are applying in more force, when we are pulling it in this direction, so that applied force is more than a frictional force, then only we can slide or we can move this object, wooden block. If the applied force is less than the frictional force, we can't able to move it. Okay, so friction means that frictional force is a force which acts between two surfaces. In that case, one of the surface, actually in this case, this table opposes the motion of wooden block. Okay, one of the surface opposes the motion of the other. Okay, here we consider two surfaces, one is wooden block and other one is wooden table. So in this case, wooden block we kept in a wooden table. So we try to move this wooden block in this direction when we try to move. So that time, while this movement time, this hills and valleys, because of the presence of hills and valleys in the surface of this wooden blocks and wooden table, this will interlock. Like this interlocking time, it creates a frictional force. What frictional force? This table opposes the motion of wooden block. So this table acts the force in this direction, opposes the motion. But we are applying more force than this frictional force. This wooden block, we can slide over this wooden table. Okay. So our applied force is, if it is less, we can't able to slide, it will be interlocking. More, if it is, there is more frictional force. So that's all about the causes of friction. Okay, the causes of friction is mainly due to the hills and valleys which is present in the surface of two objects. Here two objects are there, wooden table and wooden blocks are the two objects. Okay, so this is the main cause of friction. Are you clear? So in the case of first, and the next topic is measuring friction. How can we measure friction? Okay, measuring friction. How can we measure friction? We can measure the friction with the help of a spring balance. Did you ever seen the spring balance? Here you can see the spring balance, and the spring balance are mainly we are using to measure the weight of an object. What is weight? The force acting on an object is considered as weight. Spring balance is an instrument which is we are mainly used to measure the weight of the object. Weight is actually force acting on an object. Okay, so in this spring balance is based on the principle of when the spring is stretched when a force. Okay, it is mainly based on stretching of spring when force is applied. The spring balance is based on stretching of spring when force is applied. And how can we measure it? How can we measure the friction? By using this spring balance. Spring balance is an instrument which is used to spring balance. It's an instrument which is used to measure force of an object, or we can measure the friction by using the spring balance. How it will be? When we consider that, if we consider a table, and here in this picture you can see that one table is here and one object like one block we kept there, and we with the help of the spring balance hook. Okay, we are here before that. Okay, you can see the parts of spring balance. Its spring is there and it has an hook, and reading also you can see here, right, in this spring balance. So how can we measure the friction? So for measuring the friction, we are taking a block that we kept on a table, and the hook of with the help of the hook we just attached with the block. Okay, and when we try to move the spring balance, so that time we are actually moving time. You can see in this figure, like when this block starts to move, so that point we have to measure. In this spring balance, it has a pointer, that red colored you can see here. Here you can see the picture of spring balance, and the speciality of this spring balance is that it is used to measure the weight, already I told you, and its main parts, it having some readings, it's already recorded, you can see from the diagram like 10, 20 like this it is given, and at the down one hook is there and holder at the top, we can hold it. Then it is based on the principle of when a spring will stretch when force is applied, right. So for this measurement of friction, we can measure the friction. For that we have to consider an object. If we consider an rectangular block or any kind of object, okay, so that object, in this figure you can see that we kept it on a table and we hanged, in that block we hanged a spring balance, right. And when we discussed about the causes of friction, I told you that both these objects are solid, so there will be interlocking. Why? Because of the presence of hills and valleys, it may interlock. Okay, so when we are applying the force towards this, when we are pulling the spring balance along with this block, so we have to observe. When we have to observe the pointer reading when the block is start to move. Okay, if it is 20, 100. So we can say that the frictional force is acting is 20. 100. Okay, so like that we can record. When we look the pointer reading, we can measure the frictional force. Are you clear? So in this way we can measure the frictional force or friction acting on an object. So that is actually the friction acting on an object, and okay, so that's all about the measuring of friction. On that basis we can divide the we can also consider we can divide them into different types according to the motion. That means when we are measuring the friction, in that way we can divide the friction in different types, that we will discuss in the next class. So today what all the things we discussed, we learnt about the friction. Friction is always an opposing force, it is a no contact force, and it acts between two surfaces and it opposing the motion of one surface or one object over the other. Okay, and then we learned about how to measure, what are the causes of friction. The main cause of friction is the presence, that we can easily, we discussed it in the case of solid object. We discussed about the causes of friction in the case of solid object. In the solid object, when the two surfaces are in contact with each other, there will be an presence of hills and valleys, and while this movement, these hills and valleys will interlock, it induces an frictional force. Then last topic, measuring friction. We can measure this friction with the help of a spring balance, and in this spring balance is actually we are used to measure the weight of an object, and it is based on the spring will stretch when force is applied on it. Okay, then the spring balance, how can we measure, like these things we discussed. So next class we will learn about we will discuss the types of friction. So that's all for today's class. Thank you.